Welcome to Media Spotlight UK. I'm Lozz, and today we're joined by Impact Wrestling's Jake Something. Jake, how are you doing today?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Good stuff. I'm very well, thank you. And it's a really big privilege for us to have you on the show today. I appreciate you taking your time out of your schedule to speak to us.
Yeah.
And we've got some real big questions and a lot going on with you at the moment in Impact Wrestling. But I wanted to start with the basics, super smooth, which is what inspired you to get involved with pro wrestling? Who was it? What inspired you to really, get in the ring and between the ropes?
Um. So I don't think there was a like a specific moment necessarily because it's just always been. It's always been in my life. My mom watched it. My uncles watched it. My grandparents watched it. Like so, I've just always have been watching it, and it's kind of always been in my head that that's what I was going to do. So when I was able to, as soon as I graduated high school, I moved away and went and trained. So there wasn't like a necessarily like specific moment, but I just always knew.
That's amazing. Did you always have that drive? So you just were like, that's what I want to do. That's where I want to go. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Like I remember in like second grade or something like that, our teacher had us have an assignment where we just wrote down what we wanted to be when we were older, and I wrote that I wanted to be a pro wrestler. And then even flash forward to in high school, we had to meet with a guidance counselor and like talk about our plans after high school, like colleges and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I'm going to be a pro wrestler. And they're like, okay, well, that's not practical. So what are you actually going to do? I was like, okay, well, I'm actually going to be a pro wrestler. So jot that down.
that's really cool. And then proved, I'm sure, the doubters wrong by actually making it, which is
Yeah,
super fantastic and most.
suckers.
Yeah, for sure. So I checked out. So you grew up in Michigan. So could you tell us what
Yeah,
was that like growing up in Michigan?
cold. It's cold often, but I mean, it was fine. Like the town I live in is pretty nice, easygoing town. Granted, there's a lot of towns surrounding me that are very bad, but I mean, life is fine. It's a very normal place.
Cool, cool. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, I associate Michigan with being cold. Also, the home of Motown as well,
yeah,
mainly from the city of Detroit, which is pretty interesting.
yeah,
And yeah, was it easy for you to go on a pathway to train as a wrestler when being from Michigan?
yeah. Actually, so there's a couple really good schools in Michigan, or even Scott Demore has a school in Windsor, which is next to Detroit. It's in Canada, but it's like literally on the other side. So it's basically in Detroit. And that's about 2 hours away from me. But I did a very simple Google search of wrestling schools, and Ring of Honor popped up, which is about 15 hours away from where I lived. And that's where I went. Come to find out, I could have went 2 hours away, which, whoops. But I mean, I went to a really good school, so I don't have any complaints.
No, that's very clear to see with your in-ring ability. I think I
Mhm.
had a check, and you were trained by some great people. Who really inspired you when you were training to really take it to the next level?
Oh, next level stuff. Yeah, so I trained at Ring of Honor, and I finished in 2009. And I mean, I did a lot of seminars and stuff like that. But years later, when I got linked up with Scott Demore and just going to his school and learning through him and everyone that he had coming in, like I think that was like the big moment where it's like time to change gears, time to turn it up. Because like you can always think that you're good or ready or polished, but then you realize that there's more to do, and I very much realize that I still want to improve in a lot of ways. So I think just going to his school is what really made it click for me.
That's cool to hear. And was it good to receive feedback? I often feel that getting feedback from people when you're trying to perfect an art form is super important. Was that something you were very receptive to?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think I am, because even still, like talking to my friends or peers or anyone that talks to me about matches I've had or promos that I've had or anything. Even last night, I had some friends and peers reach out, like, "Oh, hey, this looked really cool." My first response almost every time is like, "Okay, cool. What looked bad? Like, did anything look bad? Just because I wanna be able to fix anything that didn't come off the way I wanted it to come off."
That's amazing. Understandable as well, for sure. Um, cool. So, I mean, growing up in the business and really trying to achieve your dream is super important. And I really wanted to ask you, what did it feel like when you signed for Impact and when you joined Impact?
Oh man, it was amazing. It was the first contract I've ever been offered, but also it's a company that I've followed since I was a kid. So it meant a lot to me. I actually have my contract framed right there just because it really did mean a lot to me. And Baby Yoda's holding them up too, but but it really means a lot to me.
Oh, that's excellent. I think achieving your dream and really making some moves with the majors is super important, especially considering the hard work that you must have put in to get there.
Yeah,
What was it like being received by Impact Wrestling and the team there? Again, was it like a family or was it? Tell us.
yeah. No, very much so. Because I've been in locker rooms throughout my life that didn't seem receptive or almost felt like standoffish, like when you first walk in, like very much like, oh, the new guy coming in. But it was not like that for Impact. It even from the jump. Granted, I had a few friends that were already there, but everyone was very warm and receptive and just welcoming. Like people I didn't know, like somebody like Eddie Edwards, who's been around for a long time. He's very established, and he doesn't need to be as warm and welcoming as he is, but he was. So that was really cool. Just a lot of people like that where they didn't need to be warm and welcoming, but they were.
That's really good to hear. Again, that can help you grow as an individual, and also, help
Yeah,
help you settle in and really find your feet, which
yeah.
is again really important.
Makes me happy to go to work.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well. Yeah, continuing and yeah, doing what you love as well, and with people that you love too is
Yeah,
super important. And it's very lucky that we can find that actually. To be fair.
yeah.
Cool. So a lovely bit of background. I mean, I've been checking out some of your matches, and some of the stuff is just fantastic. But I really wanted to get into the crux of today's interview, which is, what's going on currently at Impact Wrestling. And there is a lot going on for you in Impact Wrestling right now. So my first question about the current feud is going to be, Violent by Design, Cody Deaner, the family feud. Bring us up to speed with what's been happening with that and how you've been feeling about that.
It it's been a very like eye-opening thing, right? Like because if you look at this feud, at what it is, Cody turning on me, you very much see that the me and Cody, that was like me in a shell or in a cocoon, right? Then him turning on me and then forming that group, that stable, Violent by Design, and them constantly attacking me. That's literally them like ripping the cocoon open, right? It's like forcing it open. And that then you see who I really am. Like it's like you're watching me evolve, and that's what it feels like to me. And you're watching Cody evolve too. You're watching Eric Young evolve. You're watching us all evolve by this whole process.
That's right. You were a former tag team, and we saw that actual, the physical embodiment of that with you putting down your vest in the ring, and
Yes.
we really got to see that transition for you, which is a really exciting moment.
Mm-hmm.
And what I wanted to ask you too is, you did a great quote out there, which was, "If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything,"
Mm-hmm.
which is so meaningful. And what I wanted to ask you, Jake, is what does Jake something stand for right now? What do you stand for?
Specifically in this moment, I stand exactly for me. So I don't have a family to lean on anymore. I don't have, Cody has a new family, right? And he's got a new cult. When you think about it, he has a lot of people to lean on. I don't. And I'm finding strength within myself. And to me, if I don't have anyone to lean on, I have to get stronger. I have to be able to do it on my own. So when I say I stand for me and I stand for something, I mean exactly that. Like, it's 100% all about me and my inner strength.
Standing for yourself, especially against
Yeah.
a group as formidable as they are, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
And you had a match at No Surrender, which was again the one on one. How was that for you? How did that match go down? How did you feel about that one?
I felt great about it because in a lot of ways it was my first time out, right? Like I've had lots of matches at Impact, but that was me being me. That was me going against Cody for the first time. There was a lot of firsts in that match. Um, so it felt great. And going into it, it was like I was anxious, right? But then like once I went out there and felt it, then it felt great.
Nice. Was it hard to battle the emotions? Did you get a little bit of that at all?
Um, I would say leading up to it, there was some emotions, right? And everything leading up to it was some emotions. But then once it was time and like once I was out there, it wasn't like that at all. It was like the switch had flipped, right?
I could understand that. I think really going out there and showcasing and really taking that emotion to him as well, especially considering what they sort of put you through as well. I think it's
Right.
understandable.
Yeah.
And then we had a fantastic match on Impact TV, the tables match,
Mhm.
which we've just seen. Now that was something all over the arena. Big match, but yeah, what happened? How did that one play out for you as well? The black hole slam through the table. You battled really strongly against him? There was a lot of different moments where it could have gone either way. Would you agree? Or
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Especially in a match like that, because it's not just like, hey, the better man won because he got a pin or he was able to outsmart him or he was able to do this or use strength or whatever. This is like literally anything could happen. I was teetering on the edge of the ring. Like I could have just fallen through the table right then and there. Like it's a match that can end at any time. So there was definitely a lot of back and forth moments. And Cody's a great wrestler. I'll give him that. He's definitely a great wrestler. So there was a lot of back and forth moments, and it was a hard fought battle for sure. But obviously, I was able to get the job done.
got the victory, which was much deserved. And then
Yeah.
then something absolutely out of the blue happened.
Yeah.
Moose was in the ring. Again, I want to ask you your feelings on that because I mean, maybe at the moment you didn't know what was happening, but yeah, tell us.
Right. Like especially because with this whole like feud I've been in, it's been a very eye opening experience, and I have very much been finding who I am throughout this whole thing. So I beat Cody the first time, and that felt great. But beating him the second time was like much more rewarding because it was very much like cemented that I knew I was making the right choice. I know who I am, and I know what I'm doing is right. Like everything leading up to this moment, like I know that I made the right choice. So like I was celebrating in the rings. It was like it felt very real, just real emotion of I did it. Like I did what I said I was going to do, and I did it my way, and I did it right. And then it instantly got taken away from me, like from someone who I only know in passing, like a lot of whys, a lot of what's going on. But my first initial thought is, I'm going to kill this man, and that you very much saw that. Like I was out for blood. I was ready to go.
Yeah, you came back out. You were really giving it some. Very very upset about what had happened, and I guess obviously at that moment too, it's very difficult to kind of exactly understand what where you were at. And but then you got a fantastic opportunity came up. It was
Yeah,
Moose versus Jake for the TNA heavyweight title,
yeah,
and not just you on your own. It was not just you come fresh. You'd already done one match, and it wasn't just a normal match. It was a tables
right.
match. So
Yes.
how did you prepare for that? I mean, what did you think?
There is no preparing for it, right? You just have to do it. And I mean, that's very much, I've been realizing that is very much who I am. Like sometimes you can't prepare for things, or sometimes even if you're hurt or messed up or whatever, you really just kind of got to do it. And that's what it was for me. And there was two different big things that I was feeling. It was like, I wanted revenge that somebody that just did me wrong. But almost like a bigger feeling that I had was that's a title that I want. Like I want the TNA title. I want it. Like I've always wanted it. So it's like not even necessarily mad anymore that this man just attacked me, because really he did me a favor because now I have this opportunity, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of things going on, but I knew that I had to just buckle down, and it didn't matter if I was hurt. I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you hadn't have had a match earlier in the night, do you reckon you would have beaten him?
I mean, I would like to think that. I know that Moose is a super athlete, right? But and I think he's very fantastic. But I think if you watch that match, I felt like I felt like we were on the same level, which is a cool feeling because I've seen him do a lot of great things, and he's been in the main event for a very long time. So at least in that moment, it felt like we were on the same level, and that made me feel really good. It was like, and again, it was like it reassured me that, like, yeah, man, like I made the right choice.
Going in the right direction to be in
Yes.
the right spot. Yeah, for sure. It was looked like a grueling match for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Next up, we have Sacrifice coming up on Impact Plus.
Mhm.
So, what are your goals and thoughts for Sacrifice, or even for the future?
Um, my immediate goals are even like say for sacrifice. I don't know yet because I just don't know I don't know what's going to happen next, right? Because it seems like each week there's a curveball thrown at me, so I got to assume I'm going to have more curveballs, right? Because if I don't assume that, then I'm going to get blindsided, and I'm going to be honest, I'm sick of that happening. So yeah, I'm ready for whatever sacrifice brings. And hey, if it's just me sitting back and watching it on TV, I'll do that too. But I would like to think that I'm going to be a part of it. And but way down the line, or hopefully sooner rather than later, I want more title shots. I want to win the titles. And then I want to defend them. I want to do everything you'd think that I would want to do.
That's really good. It's good to continue that determination, and I'm sure that
Yeah,
there's probably some unfinished business with some of those individuals, Moose and the Violent by Design crew as well.
I got to assume.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, we really do hope that you get those achievements in there, and also get to sort out some of the unfinished business that is still overhanging from the last few shows.
Yeah.
Um, so I really would like to ask you as well. Who, what kind of lots of fandoms out there, lots of different things that we all love and enjoy. What would be so kind of taking it away from wrestling just slightly for a moment, but what fandoms what are you involved in? What do you enjoy, Jake something?
I'm very big into Star Wars. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Star
okay.
Wars, yeah. Or
Yeah. So I'm very much big into Star Wars. I do spend a lot of time watching it or talking about it, or I got lots of group chats that we talk about. I watch a lot of I watch a lot of little YouTube channels about that. Same with there's a lot of animes and mangas that I'm very much into. Like, as you can see behind me, I've got a lot right here. One's called Berserk. That's my favorite. I've got tattoos of it. Like, it's very big for me. Dragon Ball is an obvious one. Like, you can't miss that one. I think that's everyone's first anime anyway. So, but yeah, I'm very much into those things.
that's really cool. It's good to
Yeah,
have hobbies outside of obviously our devotions and our what we do for living and what we love to do as well as things to
yeah.
enjoy. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Just one thing also I'd like to do with you, if you don't mind. It's a little game that we'd like to play.
Okay,
So I'd like you to pick one or the other. So I'm going to
okay,
give you two wrestlers from Impact Wrestling, and I just would like you to pick one. No explanation, just pick one. Quick fire. Okay with
okay.
that?
Yeah,
Alrighty, okay. So, first up, Moose or Rich Swan?
Moose,
Moose. Tommy Dreamer or Rhino?
Rhino,
Rhino. Eddie Edwards or Sammy Callahan?
Eddie Edwards,
Jordan Grace or Kimberly?
Jordan Grace.
Rosemary or Diona Perazzo?
Oh, Deanna.
Diona. Cody Deaner, Eric Young, and Joe Doering, or Jake something?
Oh, Jake something all the way.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool to hear your choices there, and I'm sure maybe one day we can get some more explanation.
Mhm.
I just wanted to ask you as well. Where can we find you online? Where can the fans find you?
So both Instagram and Twitter are the same handle, at Jake something underscore. So should make it pretty easy. I don't have Facebook or anything like that. So
Excellent. Cool. Thank you. You can find Jake over at Jake's something on Instagram and Twitter, which is awesome.
mhm.
And Jake, I wanted to thank you for your time today. It's been absolutely fantastic speaking to you. I know we've been through some very quick fire questions there, and I want to let the fans know that you can watch Impact Wrestling free on Impact Plus in the UK. So if you're a UK fan, you can watch that for free, and you can also see it on 5 Star. And Jake, any last anything you'd like to say to the UK fans or anybody watching Media Spotlight UK?
Oh, I mean, just so far, if you're already a fan, thanks for the support. And if you're not, get ready because you will be.
You heard that first, everybody. Get ready because you will be a fan. Jake, thank you so much. Impact Wrestling, thank you so much. This is Lozz, Jake something, Media Spotlight UK.